The lesson begins with Andrew walking towards his home after having an unpleasant time with his girlfriend Christine. Upon reaching home at around midnight, he finds Joe Morgan outside his house waiting for him. Joe and Susan had been expecting a child. Upon reaching, Joe tells Andrew that he is too anxious to be going inside, so Andrew walks in alone. He realizes that there is still some time left. Susan's mother, who is wise but tense at the moment, offers him some tea. While he is sipping his tea, he begins thinking about his girlfriend. He recalls how his friends too are having a hard time in their relationships. On the other hand, he feels that marriage is meant to be something peaceful and cheerful. Thus, he finds himself in a conflict. Susan's mother tells him how worried Susan is for the child because the situation is complicated. After performing the procedure, the child is born, but is lifeless. Confused between addressing the child or the mum, who herself laid unconscious at the moment, he chooses to look after Susan first. He injected her with a few medicines, and when he realized that her heart was regaining its strength, he turned towards the child. It was a boy in perfect shape. He suddenly remembered that it was a case of restricted oxygen supply, and thus, he instructed the nurse to get hot and cold water. The nurse, reluctant at first, got him what he needed, and he juggled the child in hot and cold water simultaneously. After all his efforts, the child still lay lifeless. All others had already lost hope, while he continued with the procedures. Finally, the child heaved and got his breath. His body was no longer still, leaving everyone surprised. The nurse muttered words of prayer while holding the child. The grandmother was also praying, while Susan still laid unconscious. Exhausted, Andrew left while informing Joe that all is well. While he was walking home at around 5 in the morning, his heart was full at having accomplished something real in his life.